I'm Adrian Seat, and you are tuning in to Nightline, news making the headlines. Government to abolish rules which impose a blanket ban on the use of Allah word. And new legislation to punish ticket scalpers to be enacted soon. Thanks for joining us. The government is set to repeal any existing rules that enforces a blanket ban on the use of the word Allah. Prime Minister Dato Sri Anwar Ibrahim said the ban would be abolished as it contradicted with the Conference of Rulers decree, that is, to allow the word Allah to be used only by Muslims in the peninsula, while non-Muslims in Sabah and Sarawak are allowed to use it with certain conditions. According to Dato Sri Anwar, the Attorney General's decision to withdraw the appeal against the High Court's ruling on the case involving a Christian woman, Jill Arlen Lawrence Bill, and her publication material containing the word Allah, was made as part of the government's efforts to improve all the related policies and regulations.
Atas pandangan Peguam Negara dan serta rujuk pada Dan Yang di-Pertuan Agong ialah memperkemaskan, kalau tidak kita buat rayuan, kes bangkit lagi kerana ada kecanggahan. Jadi sebab itu kita tamatkan dengan pindah semua peraturan supaya jelas, tidak ada kes yang boleh dibawa mahkamah. Bagi saya ini lebih satu yang jelas, yang kekuatan.
The Prime Minister said this during the Minister's question time at the Dewan Rakyat sitting on Tuesday. Dato Sri Anwar also said the proposal to improve the policies and regulations relating to the use of the word Allah by non-Muslims will be tabled at the meeting of the Conference of Rulers in July. He added that the government will also refer to the National Council for Islamic Religious Affairs (MKI), chaired by the Sultan of Selangor, Sultan Sharafuddin Idris Shah, for the purpose. On May 17th, Dato Sri Anwar stated the Cabinet has obtained the consent of the Yang di-Pertuan Agong Al-Sultan Abdullah Riyatuddin Al-Mustafa Billah Shah to submit its proposal to improve the enforcement of policies relating to the use of the word Allah by non-Muslims to the Conference of Rulers. He said the proposal will also include recommendations to strengthen interracial unity and interfaith harmony in Malaysia. Meanwhile, Dato Sri Anwar told the Dewan Rakyat that the government has agreed to amend the Criminal Procedure Code (CPC) to allow victims of online scams to recover their stolen money within a shorter time.
Isunya sekarang ialah bagaimana kita nak pulangkan. Jadi kearahannya sekarang ialah beberapa pindaan termasuk kanun tata cara jenayah supaya dapat dipulangkan lebih awal kepada pengadu atau mangsa dan dikekalkan bond sebagai ganti sementara kes berjalan. Kalau tidak, dia terpaksa tunggu 2 tahun.
The Prime Minister also said that Bank Negara Malaysia had instructed all banks to operate 24 hours a day and move towards automation to ensure victims could stop scammers' online transactions immediately. He added that the National Scam Response Centre (NSRC) was also in the process of extending its operations to 24 hours daily to assist fraud victims. On another matter, Dato Sri Anwar gave the assurance that the transition of the 5G implementation model from a single wholesale network to a dual network will reduce the financial implications for the government on a large scale. This, as the transition included the involvement of telcos, which was one of the terms set by the government.
Meletakkan syarat semua telco menggunakan rangkaian DNB struktur yang ada sehingga siap 80% daripada rangkaian. Kemudian memastikan konektiviti itu dijalankan termasuk di desa pedalaman.
He added that under the dual network, telcos with very good profits are also required to invest in order to ensure security. The Prime Minister also claimed that the dual network transition would strengthen the role of the Malaysian Communications and Multimedia Commission, MCMC, where regulations and laws would be streamlined so that the agency could effectively regulate the telecommunications companies. The Yang di-Pertuan Agong Al-Sultan Abdullah Riyatuddin Al-Mustafa Billah Shah on Tuesday granted an audience to Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi, Sheikh Khalid bin Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan at Istana Negara. The king also conferred the Darjah Sri Maharaja Mangku Negara Award, which carries the title Tun, on Sheikh Khalid. Sheikh Khalid was also awarded the Darjah Kerabat Sri Indra Mahkota Pahang Yang Amat Dihormati, which is awarded to members of the Pahang royal family or members of other royal families in Malaysia, as well as foreign rulers or leaders with the consent of His Majesty. Earlier, Sheikh Khalid, who is also chairman of the Abu Dhabi Executive Council, arrived at 11:30 a.m. and spent about 30 minutes with Al-Sultan Abdullah. During the audience, 2 hybrid orchid species were named Papilionda Sheikh Mohammed and Dendrobium Sheikha Fatima as a symbol of friendship and close relations between the Yang di-Pertuan Agong and the President of the United Arab Emirates, UAE, Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, who is Sheikh Khalid's father. Sheikh Khalid's 4-day special visit to Malaysia is expected to strengthen the long-standing good relations between the country and the UAE, which have been upgraded to a strategic partnership on September 27th last year. The government will enact a new legislation to monitor and curb activities pertaining to ticket scalpers through online and offline transactions in the future. Communications and Digital Minister Fahmi Fadzil said the enactment of the Act will also follow the United States and the Australian model relating to ticket scams in the country.
Pada waktu ini di Malaysia kita belum ada undang-undang yang bersifat anti ulat tiket dan oleh sebab itu kita akan teliti bersama dengan kementerian-kementerian yang lain yang mungkin menganjurkan aktiviti program yang ada aspek penjualan tiket sama ada secara online ataupun tidak.
Fahmi said this in a joint media conference with the Domestic Trade and Cost of Living Minister, Dato Sri Salahuddin Ayub, in Parliament on Tuesday, following complaints from members of the public on the difficulty in purchasing tickets for Coldplay's KL concert due to scalpers. Meanwhile, Dato Sri Salahuddin revealed that the ministry has so far received 28 unofficial complaints on the resale of Coldplay tickets at higher prices through social media platforms. He also urged the ticket buyers to lodge official reports with the ministry if they were victims of fraud. Both ministries will also work together with the assistance of the Malaysian Communications and Multimedia Commission, MCMC, to identify those behind the accounts of the ticket sales. The start of the academic calendar will revert to January beginning 2026. Education Minister Fadlina Siddiq said her ministry has started working on bringing forward the beginning of the academic calendar for the 2024 to 2025 session to February 2025.
KPM telah memulakan usaha dengan merancang untuk mengawalkan kalender akademik persekolahan sesi 2024-2025 bermula pada bulan Februari 2025. Kalender persekolahan dirancang dapat bermula pada bulan Januari ialah pada tahun 2026. Jadi permintaan yang berhormat untuk memulakan sesi persekolahan Januari akan ditunaikan pada tahun 2026.
Fadlina said this during the question and answer session in the Dewan Rakyat on Tuesday. She also told lawmakers that in determining the academic calendar year for schools, the ministry had to ensure that the teaching and learning process could be carried out optimally and meet the required number of 190 school days in a year. Fadlina pointed out that her ministry has also aligned the public examination schedule so that it is in line with a change in the school's academic calendar. The minister added that the planning of family holidays and feasts for teachers, as announced in the 10 initiatives in conjunction with Teachers' Day recently, will be arranged based on the new academic calendar, which will be sent for gazette. Meanwhile, the decision to revert the start of the school year back to January beginning 2026 was welcomed by parents, as it will put less pressure on students and teachers to complete the entire school curriculum prior to the transition. The move is also considered more convenient for them to plan family holidays and activities, as well as help their children strike a balance between education commitments and spending time with loved ones.
I think it would be better because it's easier for us to plan like holiday, when to start school and like back to normal. But currently it's like really haywire because March starts school and then December still schooling, but normally it's school holiday.
It was pretty messed up during the pandemic. We understand that situation, and for myself, I look forward to going back to normal. So when you start in January, it's going to be better for all of us, better for the students to prepare.
However, some parents also believe that there are other issues that require the Education Ministry's immediate attention.
I think the most affected would be their infrastructure, yes, correct. So those are the things that they have to actually look at, because I think most of the schools in not just KL or Selangor, but the whole region as a whole, you need to see their infrastructure because it's quite old and not usable anymore. So that's, I think, the most important thing to look at right now.
I think most of the parents are aware of their syllabus in school right now. It's a bit tough and it's a bit hard for them to catch. A bit tricky. The government also needs to support and helps the students and the kids to have some incentive or some things like that government can offer to the parents to have some some benefits than extra class.
I would like it if they could have install this locker idea, because I see my kids, they are small like me, petite, and their school bag is just so heavy. Or at least arrange the schedule, the timetable in such a way that maybe there's only 3 subjects max in a day.
As for the National Union of Teachers Professionals, NUTP, it believes that the decision to begin the academic calendar in January will bring numerous benefits to the education sector and contribute to the overall well-being of teachers and students.
Even though there's no issue when the school term does not start in January, since school period has been planned between 38 to 42 weeks school per year. But the feel is different when starting the school session at beginning of the year. Due to COVID, students nowadays may lose the excitement of starting the school session in January. Exchange the school among teachers and students can also be done through November and December. NUTP hopes that teachers and parents stay patient until this plan comes in action in 2026.
The government is fine-tuning the proposed implementation of the multi-lane free flow MLFF toll collection system for the convenience of highway users. Deputy Works Minister Datuk Sri Abdul Rahman Mohamad told the Dewan Rakyat that in line with the government's intention to implement the MLFF in 2025, the payment options for consumers will be diversified and not limited to a one payment provider scheme as implemented currently.
Ini secara tidak langsung akan membantu pengguna mengatasi isu kekurangan baki sewaktu melalui gantri, tol dan seterusnya, melancarkan pergerakan pengguna lebuh raya.
Datuk Sri Abdul Rahman said this in response to a question from Masjid Tanah MP, Datuk Mas Irmiati Samsudin, on why the radio frequency identification RFID system is still experiencing problems leading to congestion at toll plazas. Acknowledging that there were some shortcomings in the implementation of the RFID system, he added that the Malaysian Highway Authority had requested that the highway concessionaires make more frequent adjustments in the lane so that the efficiency could be improved. The highway operators were also asked to raise awareness amongst users about the importance of having sufficient e-wallet balance before starting their journey to avoid disruptions during toll payment transactions. 7 killed in school roof collapse incident. News from the foreign front when we return. Welcome back. In Thailand, 7 people, including 4 children, were killed after the roof of a school's gymnasium collapsed during a storm in Pichit province on Monday. Earlier, it was reported that the children aged between 6 and 13 had gone inside the activity centre at the Wat Nanpor Primary School to shelter from the rain. However, at about 6:30 p.m. local time, the storm struck, causing the roof to suddenly collapse. Officials said 6 bodies were recovered on Tuesday morning, which included students, janitors and parents, adding that 18 people were injured. The death toll later increased by 1 when a 6-year-old boy succumbed to his injuries at the hospital after being rescued. The country's meteorological department later announced the start of the monsoon season and issued a warning for heavy rain in Upper Thailand throughout this week. East Timor's opposition party, led by independence hero Xanana Gusmao, on Tuesday won parliamentary election but is short of an outright majority. According to the National Elections Commission, the National Congress for Timorese Reconstruction CNRT led Sunday's ballot with 41.6% of the votes, while incumbent coalition leader Fretilin under Mari Al-Khatiri secured 25.7% of the vote share. The CNRT won 31 of the 65 seats in Parliament, just 2 short of a majority, meaning Gusmao will have to negotiate with other parties to form a government. If Gusmao garners enough support, he will replace the outgoing Prime Minister, Jose Maria Vasconcelos, on June the 12th. Pakistan's former Prime Minister Imran Khan on Tuesday has been granted bail in multiple cases by an anti-terrorism court in the capital, Islamabad. The chief of the Pakistan's Tehreek-e-Insaf PTI party was granted bail until June the 8th in 8 cases related to violence in the court complex in March this year. Imran's wife, Bushra Bibi, was also granted a protective bail until May 31st in a corruption case. The couple is accused of accepting a gift of property to build a private university in exchange for providing benefits to a real estate tycoon. They, however, denied the charge. Portuguese police, aided by German and British colleagues, on Tuesday resumed their search for British child Madeleine McCann, who disappeared in the country's southern Algarve region 16 years ago. Between 20 and 30 officers could be seen entering the waters of the Begrem do Arade reservoir. The suspect, Christian Bragner, used to visit about 50 kilometers from the Praia do Luz holiday apartment. Investigators believe the 45-year-old, currently serving a 7-year prison sentence in Germany for raping and killing Madeleine, then aged 3, after abducting her from the apartment. The state prosecutor said a growing amount of evidence had connected Bragner to the case, including his mobile phone records showing he was in the Praia da Luz area at the time of Madeleine's disappearance. On to sports. Football. The 2023 Super League. 3 matches were played on Tuesday night. Negeri Sembilan FC were held to a 3-3 draw by Kelantan United FC at home, while Kelantan FC suffered a 1-4 defeat to PDRM FC. In Kota Kinabalu, hosts Sabah FC climbed to 4th in the standings after a 3-1 win over Perak FC. Darren Loke opened the scoring for Sabah as early as in the 4th minute, before Pak Tae-Su doubled the advantage in the 32nd minute. Badrul Bakhtiar put the home side in the driving seat as he scored Sabah's 3rd 4 minutes before the interval. Perak managed to grab a consolation in the 83rd minute through Harith Naim. The 3-1 win put Sabah in 4th with 24 points, 2 points above Kedah Darul Aman FC. Turning to badminton, the 2023 Perodua Malaysia Masters. World number 2 Aaron Chia, So Wee Yik lived dangerously before securing their place in the men's doubles second round on Tuesday. World champions Aaron and Wee Yik dished out an inconsistent performance but managed to overcome Indonesians Pramudia Usumawardana, Rimia Rambitan 21-18, 10-21, 23-21 in 55 minutes. Pramudia Rimia defeated the Malaysian pair to win the Asian Championships in Manila in May last year, but Aaron and Wee Yik defeated the pair in the quarterfinals of the Indonesia Open a month later. Aaron and Wee Yik will meet Choi Sul-gyu Kim Won-ho of South Korea in the second round on Thursday. Coming up after the break, City Bainon fails second bid. Stay with us. Welcome back. The government is expected to announce electricity tariff adjustments for the higher income group, T20, in the immediate future. According to the Natural Resources, Environment and Climate Change Minister, Nik Nazmi Nik Ahmad, users could take a cue from the stabilising coal and gas prices in the first half to gauge the trend for electricity tariffs in the second half.
Kita akan umumkan insya-Allah dalam masa terdekatlah untuk bagi masa, tetapi dia you can reflect to the market price dan sebagainya untuk melihat trend. Saya boleh katakan kita tahulah trend harga sekarang agak stabil berbanding dengan tahun-tahun sebelum ini.
Speaking after launching the ASEAN Green Hydrogen Conference 2023, he said the second half adjustments through the imbalance cost pass-through mechanism will stretch from July to December this year as the government reviews the ICPT every 6 months. However, he stated that the cabinet had yet to discuss as to whether the targeted subsidy for the household or domestic sector would be implemented in the second half of the year. Rumah Bonda founder Siti Bainun Ad Razali has failed in her second bid to stay the execution of her 12-year prison sentence for neglecting and abusing a teenage girl with Down syndrome known as Bella. Kuala Lumpur High Court Judge Dato' Ahmad Bashir dismissed the application by the 31-year-old woman on the grounds that there were no special or exceptional circumstances to allow the stay. Dato' Ahmad in his judgment said, after examining the affidavits and submission by both parties, the court finds that the issues raised and argued by the applicant's lawyer could not show special or exceptional circumstances that would allow the court to grant the application. He also said that there was no report by a specialist to verify Siti Bainun's claims of having health problems, such as asthma, gallstones or GERD. On May the 3rd, Sessions Court Judge Isra Lizam Sanusi, who found her guilty, sentenced her to 10 years of jail for neglect and 12 years for abuse. Siti Bainun was ordered to serve her sentence concurrently from the same day, following which the woman was sent to the Kajang prison. The court also rejected her application for a stay of execution against her jail sentence. As Nightline draws to a close this time around, let's take a look at the get-together event organised by System Television Malaysia Berhad's Executive Union held at Sri Pentas on Tuesday. I'm Adrian Seed. Thank you for tuning in and take care, Malaysia.